Hi guys, back again, episode 2. I know it's been a little while since the first episode. We managed to get the Q&A one out and it's been a couple of weeks since, so we will try and get a bit better at that. Thought we'd come down and give you a bit of an update. Steve stripped the back off. There's some additional work to go into the fuel system now. I keep changing my mind. The engine plans have changed. So the fuel system originally planned wouldn't quite have given us what we need. So there's an additional pump going in there now, which means the filters need to move. It was something we'd sort of thought about first time round. So Steve had left provision for it, but with going for it straight now, while we're still at the fab stage, we can make it look right. So I thought today we'd give you a look round the inside of the car. Steve's put a lot of work into the rear panelled area. So there's some really nice bead rolling in there. There's been a lot of questions about the quilted bead rolling. So Steve's kindly going to do a bit of a demo, show you how he's done that. It's quite interesting. So originally in the car, there was the original centre tunnel in the back. It's double skinned, so it's actually quite heavy, that. We'll weigh that at some point and give you a bit of a comparison between what's gone in and what there currently is. I know everyone's interested in how much everything weighs, so it's not as heavy as you think. That, on the other hand, heavy. So in the back, Steve's added some nice 1-inch tube between the roll cage, give him a base to work off, and then he's boxed the front in where we originally would have been flat and level, and rolled in for the back seats, which has given us the opportunity to put a nice flat rear floor in with the quilting, kept sort of minimalish in areas, and just highlighted it with the smaller bead rolled panels around the back. There's also, from T7 Designs, there's this lovely billet custom battery tray, isolator and buzz bar block. So that's a real nice addition in the back, really made a feature of that.
This is how I feel. Sometimes it goes bad. Baby, we try. Yeah, yeah. That's a line you said when you broke my heart. Yeah.
So the main reasons for all the modifications on the interior of the car have been this gearbox. It's been an absolute pig. It should be an easy conversion into a lot of stuff, and it's just not been the case. So it's the CD009 box out of a 350Z. Bolts up nice to the engine with an adapter plate. There's a nice GK Tech shifter kit which takes away all the long piece that originally sits about here. So it'd make it, just puts the shifter back to the stock location of an S14, S15 box while still running the SR in the front. But obviously the box is massive, and people say you can run them by massaging the tunnel. You'd have to beat the crap out of the tunnel to fit it in properly, and it just wouldn't be fitting with the rest of the build. So there's been some big chops at the front where the bulkhead is to give clearance around the box, which has then meant a custom tunnel. And then to make the custom tunnel look and fit right, Steve's cut the floor pan away to the inner side of the chassis leg, which will then allow us to mount the tunnel in, get that in this week, nice and neat and tidy, and then make the floor pan up to the tunnel and nicely swaged, give us a chance to make something special in the middle of the car for running the lines down, running the battery cables, those sorts of things, just to keep it nice and neat and tidy. And with all the panel work that's gone into the car, I don't want to be running carpets in here either. So we'll have some nice mats made just for the driver's side, passenger side, and leave everything that Steve's done in the floor pan at the back and in the middle nicely exposed. As well, because we've chopped the floor pan out, seat rails became an issue. So what we're going to do is run like almost WRC style seat rails, tie into the inner and then into the tunnel as well. They'll sit just slightly above the floor pan, and then Steve's going to gusset them in down to the floor pan for added strength as well. And then that'll give us options whether we run an adjustable seat rail for the driver's side or not, fix it in place. I'm not quite decided yet, but for the passenger side that'll just be fitted low, far back. Again, just an option we had while we were here, so we chose to take it. Okay guys, so Steve's kind of taken some time out today to bead roll the panel up for us. There's been a lot of questions, like we said earlier, about the diamonds in the panels. A lot of people have had a go, which is nice to see people having a go.
A lot of people are gobsmacked and doing it by hand, not electric.
And the panel buckles like mad, doesn't it?
Hopefully, yeah, you watch this panel won't show you now. I'm just going to give a run through on very basic marking out, and then quickly go through on the smaller swager, because that one's easier to film on, to show roughly how it's done. On basic marking out for the diamonds, ideally you want a 1-inch boulder to stay away from the edge, because what happens if you go too close with the diamonds, the edge buckles. So for that, it is literally, it's not teaching you to suck eggs, but there are a lot of people that do still get it wrong. Rule to the edge of this metal on all 4 sides. Decent size radius washer. Place it on. Black line to black line gives you the perfect swage line, and if you keep these even, you'll always end up with the same size 1-inch boulder around all your steel. You don't end up with tight radiuses, sharper ones. Just keeps it uniform, because there's nothing worse than having a panel that's got a nice roll on one and a sharper one on the other. So once you've got it based, that's your 1-inch boulder. Always start near a corner. So what we'll do is we'll put in the 1-inch boulder first. When going around the bend, it really isn't fast. This handle will barely move to go around this bend. It'll probably be 1/10 of a turn. And you just guide it round, and you're more pulling the steel instead of turning the handle. And then when you get on the straight, a nice steady, constant crank back into the bend, gentle roll again. And then on the longer straights, get yourself in a position where you're comfortable, where I'm not comfortable at the moment, but let's see how it goes. And just keep a constant roll. Little movements on the steel, and then back into the bend again. And then once again, this is almost, it's barely even turning. As you can see, it's not much. Nice and smooth down the straight. Now this bit, you really do want to make sure you exit on the line perfectly, because you need to line back up. Take it steady as you go down. As you get near, back off half a turn. And just roll it in gently, and see how it fell in? You can then back off and go back, and now go full nip down. And that will make sure that it guides through and lines back up with no snags. This one, as you can see on the work, if you try to swage this one, you'll very quickly run into the corner. So this is why this would be done on the bigger swager, but this one's easier to show you on the little one. So nip it in. Nice roll. Just stop before you're about to roll onto the other swage. Drop back down. You'll slowly learn your machine with how many nips. It's between there and there, depending. Need to put one more in it to do a cross. One thing you want to do is always go over whatever shape or border or pattern you're doing, do a dummy run first through the swager to make sure you can always get it, because you could very end up easily coming round on a panel and smacking. Now when it comes to this one, going across, nip down, same as always, but when you swage it, you'll fall into your rut, and it does take some force, and that's where you've got to be careful you don't over roll. As you can see, the panel's now starting to change and buckle. Not as much as the first one I ever done for Tom, where I deliberately ruined it. But already you can see how that panel is changing. And it gets worse when you've got shapes that go around corners with the diamonds. It gets worse. And some of them are stiff. And if I just grab a cloth with a little bit of thinners on and just remove all the blacking out. Because sometimes you'll see where you can go. So like that one could have a little bit more put on. That one I wouldn't push because you're on a corner. That's the pretty side. That's the marked side.
Okay guys, so that'll do for this episode, I think. I just want to thank Steve for taking that time out. Hopefully you found that really useful. I think it's quite interesting personally, seeing something a bit different. If you like what you see, we'll try and keep them coming. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, it'll tell you when the latest videos are coming on, and catch you next time.